I am not happy. Hello everyone, my name is Xenos Forever, and I just played through the Blade of Galadriel. Now, I'll say this right now. F*** Eltariel! I probably made it very clear during my Shadow of War review that I was not a fan of Eltariel, especially since she was a backstabbing traitor right at the end. You know, I didn't think it was possible to hate an elf this much. She surpasses Solus and the pickpocketing elves in Tletya in RuneScape by a long shot! Okay, maybe I'm being too hard on her. Like I said, I just finished it in 3 hours and 35 minutes, as a generous estimate. So, if you're not from, now, the thing with me is that if I have 70 or more hours in a game, I'm happy. I am not happy with this. So, the gameplay, it's basically the same, except you've got an entirely new moveset you have to learn. It is... So, I've also been playing Monster Hunter World, so I'm going to put it like this. It's as if you were using the dual blade for so long, and then you had to switch to a different weapon, so you decided to pick up, say... the charge blade. You have no idea what you're doing, for the most part, until you actually figure it out. Take the time to figure it out. And, let's face it, Eltariel's moveset is infuriating. First off, you have the dual blades, which I think are a bit faster compared to Talion's sword. Then you, instead of the brand ability, you have, I guess, the Light of Galadriel, which is horrible to aim. I swear. I hold it up. She's pointing the opposite direction where I wanted her to look. It just... it is more frustrating than trying to get Wander to point the bow the right way in Shadow of the Colossus. And the moves, set. She has her own moveset. She actually does flips as if she's holding the, crap, what's it called? That item from Dark Souls that lets you do flips all around. I think it's like the engraved wood ring. Andrew, you can edit. When you're in editing, just tell me what it is. So... Alright, so, gameplay is basically the same, except you can't dominate orcs. Instead, you make friends with them. Yeah, as weird as that sounds, you're actually making friends with the Uruks and the Oloks. Which is what it was advertised when they first announced the game. You know, tales of friendship. See, when I first saw Shadow of War, when they said Tales of Friendship, I thought they meant something like Assassin's Creed Revelations, where you actually had a bit of a storyline with each of your apprentices. I was hoping for something like that, like each orc would have their own personality. But once you brand them, their personality is just... Other than a few examples, like the Drunk or the Singer, maybe even the Unashamed. I don't remember. My Unashamed, when I demoted him, he betrayed me. But other than that, it's basically you're turning them to a Revenant, except they can still go to level 60. But anyways, although there are few and far between when it comes to the friendly Uruks, you have the Architect, who is actually kind of funny. He carries around a hammer, and he's trying to build underground fortresses. There's the Bow of Morgoth. For those of you who don't know, Morgoth is the Dark Lord before Sauron. Sauron, I think, was one of his top generals. Don't quote me on that. Say it with me, not as well versed as I'd like to be. Why do I keep saying that? I know I say that a lot, but Jesus Christ. Anyways, then there's the Thrall, who, if anyone remembers the Rachni Queen from Mass Effect 1, it's kind of like that, except Shelob. And I'm gonna have nightmares about that guy. Yeah. Let's see. There's the Fixer, who shows up in Saragost, offers you a couple of solutions. There's the Enchanted, who declares his everlasting love for Eltariel and becomes her bodyguard. The weird thing is, he's also wearing the same kind of crown that Celebrimbor had, so it's just... What the hell? What, you thought we were just doing poorly enough that we have to have a bodyguard? Anyways, so moving on from that, then there's also the Digger, who I don't know what he's like because I sided with the Architect. Yeah, if I'm talking about the DLC, it's gonna have a lot of spoilers. Anyways, so apparently you can basically choose if you want the Architect or the Digger, and oh yeah, and I almost forgot the Flint and Tinder. Ugh, I actually almost forgot these guys were in the game because they just showed up once. Poof, bye. And then they don't show up again until the final act, where one of them commits suicide by blowing himself up as well as the guy that's holding him hostage. Is that supposed to be like a sad, emotional moment? I forgot that the Flint and Tinder were there! Ugh. So, that's basically what's new in this one. You don't brand your Uruks. Sorry, let me move the light. It's kind of... There we go. It was kind of blocked by my microphone. Anyways, so, you don't brand the Uruks, you just kill them with the light of Galadriel. And, you remember how with the Outlaw and Slaughter tribes there were a bunch of tribal missions that you had to deal with? Yeah, there's a bunch of them throughout all 4 regions for different tribes. You complete them all, you can basically get the Lightbringer set, or whatever it was called. Lightbearer, Lightbringer, I don't know. It's basically the best armor set that Eltariel can have, but... So, anyways, let's talk about the story of it. So, it starts off right after Sauron reabsorbs Celebrimbor. Eltariel is blacked out on top of Barad-dûr. She sees a vision of Galadriel telling her, finish off Talion, picks up the ring, getting her 2 fingers back for some reason, because it was these 2 fingers that were lopped off. So, basically, Sauron lops these 2 off, ring gives them back in a sort of spectral form. She goes to assassinate Talion, Talion sees her coming, you basically have to fight him. Then he explains that he's not taken by Sauron just yet, but instead asks for her help. Without any of your war chiefs or overlords. That's right. You don't... As soon as this DLC starts, you're given a new character entirely. Someone that you've never seen before. And yet is referring to Talion as his lordship. Where the f*** is Moog the Tarkslayer? I mean, even when Talion calls him Slayer, right after the siege of, whatever the fort is in Cirith even though he calls him Slayer, seriously, Moog would have been perfect for that. Plus, I have some connection to Moog, so it would have been great to see him instead of, Akoth the Dead Slayer. So after that, you go to Saragost and basically make it uninhabitable by using a very potent poison that prevents anyone from getting back into Saragost. Or Karbukor, or whatever the fort's called. Basically, the poison is apparently so deadly that it'll, basically, as soon as you throw it out in the grog, creates a green mist that'll kill everything in there. So it just... What? You can't have it so no one else can? What is it? What is this? Your favorite toy that someone took from you so you broke it? I mean, that is a childish response. Sure, you don't have the resources to take it back, but... Anyways. After that, you go to Nirn, help the Fixer in return for his help in Saragost. Take down the Overlord, who actually, he helped take the fort in Nirn. And there goes Grom the Singer as well. Seriously, no orc that was in the main game, that you have in the main game, is in this one. It is infuriating, really. Just, especially since these 2 rogue Nazgul sisters... Warner Brothers, you do remember that it's the 9 mortal kings, right? Just... Who the f*** is new Nazgul? Look, I get it. There's playing fast and loose with the lore, And then they're throwing a big middle finger up to everyone. What's even weirder is that they seem to come from something akin to East Asia. I don't know. It looked like something out of like a Chinese period film of some sort. But it makes no goddamn sense. Who the hell are these people? So, there's that. Then when you get to Gorgoroth, you have to take down the sisters. Talion finally starts succumbing. You don't even get a time frame of when this is taking place. I mean, during the epilogue of Shadow of War, it said that Talion held off the shadow for decades, right? Or am I remembering that wrong? The true ending. Didn't it say that he held off the shadow for decades? I mean, this takes place between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So it's just... You have 61 years. There's 60 years or so. Talion. And all of a sudden, after what might as well be 10 days, you start to succumb to the shadow. And you know what the kicker is? When Eltariel decides to banish Talion, we get a glimpse at the first moments of Shadow of Mordor. You know, where Talion's family is getting killed on the Black Gate. Considering I played it at a very low resolution at very low frames per second, I guess it was a refreshing change of pace for me, but to anyone else, it's like, yeah, we've seen this already. It's like, anyone who watches Cinema Sins, it's any Batman movie where they say, please don't show Bruce's parents getting killed again. That is what this is like. It's basically just the whole, please don't show Bruce's parents getting killed again. We've already seen this 100,000 times. Anyways, so Talion is banished like the Nazgul before him. And, well, I guess that's how he became a full Nazgul. Thanks, Eltariel. And then after that, well, so many years pass before Talion becomes a full Nazgul, blah, 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 blah. Frodo destroys the ring, Barad-dûr collapses, Celebrimbor gets free. And it ends with Eltariel looking at the ring, saying that she's going to reunite him with Celebrimbor. Okay, first off, I maybe remember things from the movies instead of the books, but as soon as Sauron fell, every last one of the rings lost their power. Galadriel or Elrond said so. The rings lost all semblance of power. They were no longer rings of power, they were just trinkets at this point. There is no way that Celebrimbor's ring should have kept her friggin' fingers on. She should have 3 fingers by the end of that. Second, you're just ending it there with her saying that she's going after Celebrimbor. Are you setting up for another game? Don't set up for another game. No one's gonna buy it after how much of a disappointment this game was. Anyways, third, Eltariel, really? You're going chasing after Celebrimbor. Really? Really? And, like I said, I don't know if I said this earlier, I forgot, but, it took me 3.5 hours to finish the entire campaign. I get it. It's DLC, so it's not going to be nearly as long. Yeah, I get that, but it just... Hang on a sec. Considering I got it with the season pass, or expansion pass, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what the... Damn it. I don't know what the actual price of the Blade of Galadriel DLC is. Oh, come on. Really? $15 for this? Oh, I'm not the only one who doesn't think it's that good. Mixed reviews. So, that's what it is on Steam. It's $15. So, you know what my thoughts are on this? Unless this drops to like $4 or $5, maybe even $3, give this DLC a miss. If I was to give this a rating, Blade of Eltariel is a 5 out of 10. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but the cinematic cutscenes, you know, like with Talion and such, those look fine. They look like they are actually from the game. The ones where it's just not Galadriel, Eltariel. I mean, it would be awesome if Galadriel was actually in the game instead of just a phantom of sorts. If the scenes where it's just Eltariel talking with the orcs. It looks like something from Mass Effect 1! That is how little facial animation, facial expression, body language. She doesn't even move. I mean, Geralt of Rivia, an emotionless mutant, has more emotion to him than Eltariel does in The Witcher 1. And you know what the kicker is? You know what the fucking kicker is to this? Where is it? Instead of playing Shadow of War, I could have spent the day playing this. I finally got my copy of Shadow of the Colossus. So, and I'll be playing this tomorrow because apparently I'm going to get snowed in, but I could have spent the day going through the remastered Shadow of the Colossus for Instead, I decided to waste my time going through a 3 hour at most DLC. So, you want to get Blade of Galadriel? Feel free to. Just don't spend $15 on it, because that's just slapping you across the face. Instead, spend your money on something better, like, I don't know, is Stardew Valley still, what's the price for Stardew Valley? Does anyone know? Of course, you could also get something better, like Town of Salem. I mean, there are a lot of better games by smaller developers than this. I can't believe I paid $40. Monolith, if you're watching this, you got one chance left. Make Baranor count. Make this game not as much of a disappointment as it was. Between the microtransactions, the absolutely boring endgame, the rather pathetic, oh, you still lose even though you beat the game, in epilogue, and now this. After this, I want to go back and watch Lord of the Rings and bawl my eyes out when Christopher Lee comes on screen as Saruman. Because after Christopher Lee passed, I told myself I probably wouldn't be able to watch The Lord of the Rings again without crying when Christopher Lee comes on. Can you blame me? It's Christopher Lee. But anyways, so... You know what? I don't even want to talk about the Blade of Galadriel anymore. Because, let's face it, other than the fact that I still have to go back and do Online Conquest, which I hate, just so I can get back to the 100% mark for it. To sum it up, I'm not happy. 5 out of 10. But anyways, I just wanted to put this out there because it's February 6th. I could have played Shadow of the Colossus. Instead, I played this. And I've decided on something for my review. For my addendum that I'm going to do as soon as Baranor's DLC launches. I'm going to give each of these DLCs their own category. I'm going to probably put Slaughter and Outlaw in the same AIM category because they're basically the same DLC, just with a different skin. But with this and Baranor, they're going to get their own category. So I'm going to add 3 new categories to the Shadow of War review in the addendum. And so far, it's not looking good, Monolith! I am not happy. At all. But anyways, if you guys have played through the Blade of Galadriel, actually like it, please let me know down in the comments below. If anyone's seen what happens if you side with the Dagger, please let me know. I'm actually morbidly curious. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, or just want to hear me rant more, please click the like button down below. It very much helps. As always, hope to see you next time. Until then, live long and prosper. Arrivederci.